Hello.
I was.
Hey folks, how's it going? Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Here we are, season 2. So Sam, coming into this, how comfortable did everybody make you feel in the role?
I'd like to joke about it, but very comfortable. They made me very comfortable. Yeah, it was really welcoming immediately. We were just talking about it. We had a sort of a read through on our own doing that we did at Ben Walker's house before we started, which was really nice and a chance to get to know everybody. Yeah. So you're welcome.
Morfydd, what journey is Galadriel on this season?
She's learning to trust herself again because she's made an absolutely diabolical error that's affecting everyone and will affect people for thousands and thousands of years. So she's accepting the consequence of what she's done and also realizing that she's going to have to spend her life trying to make that right. And I kind of admire her dedication to forever making up for her error.
It could be worse, but actually, no.
It's pretty bad.
And does the Dark know his time of power is coming to an end at some point, or we're just going to wait it all out?
Beg your pardon, Wilson, sorry.
Does the Dark know his time of power is coming to an end at some point?
I don't. I hope he's not thinking that. I don't think he is thinking that. He's just thinking that we have to do something now, and obviously, he thinks that he's killed Sauron in the past. So, the news that Sauron is back is, shocking, probably bleakly depressing, and so he's thinking, what can I do to kind of finally really destroy Sauron and get him out of Middle Earth forever? And that kind of calls for exploring the possibility of alliances with other clans. Yeah.
When we think about season 1, I always say the season 1 of any series is all about. There's a lot of characters trying to get an idea as to who's who, what they're all about. We saw Galadriel at one point on a quest, to not only finding herself but seeking revenge, and then she makes the ultimate mistakes that she, like you said, trust issues. With season 2, does her confidence become stronger going forward, or is she on a path of another revenge?
Well, yeah, I think there's unfortunately, you become selfish if you're so wrapped up in your own despair, which she was. And what I love about Tolkien's world is that he sees hope as so valuable, and hope is something that you can't just take for granted. And she's got to spend her life now watering her hope and making that hope grow, because that's the only thing that really can fight Sauron. And I just also think that that's something that, as me, it was lovely to be reminded about that. And I think that's something that kind of, Sauron kind of represents cynicism and despair, and she's got to go to the opposite of that, which is hope and love.
Well said. Obviously, we have a lot more to go. Let's see where these characters are going towards season 3, because I know it's going to happen at some point. But right now, we've got 2 to go through, and I appreciate talking to me, and we'll talk down the road.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Hey, folks, how's it going?
Very good. Thanks. How are you?
When I look at for what I've seen so far, I feel there's one that I say there's the power to move and the power to be moved, and so you guys are intertwined throughout the season, but we get a little glimpse more of Charlie's case. And so what I always say, like, what is the journey we're getting this season previous that's different from last season?
I think in Sauron's case, we get to see his more private moments, right? We're kind of in it with him on his journey. And whereas in season 1, he was hiding his identity from the other characters in the show and also the audience. Season 2, he's still hiding his identity from quite a lot of people in the show, but we're in on it as an audience. And that makes it really fun it's kind of, you're watching someone do bad things, but you kind of want him to do them, if you know what I mean.
That's just
you want him to succeed. So yeah, that's kind of to sum up his journey.
And with Celebrimore, is his role more defined in this season? Last year he was there, but now he's based on the trailers and what I've seen so far, it seems like he can be moved or swayed, if he's tempted.
Oh, very much so. Yes, his role is much more defined. I think season 1, he was there. Obviously, he was around. And I tried to, sprinkle a few little elements of season 2 in my performance for those it was there if anyone wanted it, and who knew Celebrimbor's story. But this is much more, yes, we see much more of him and how susceptible he is to the traits that you mentioned, yeah.
Now that we know who Saruman is, are we supposed to get any empathy for him as we see his journey turning into the dark side?
I think I'd say, yeah, empathy for Sauron's a tricky one because we know that he does bad things, right? And he's so villainous that he's kind of known in pop culture as like a super villain. So I don't think we necessarily should have empathy for him, but what I hope is that the audience understands where he's coming from in terms of his intentions. Like, he wants to heal and rehabilitate Middle-earth, but I still don't think I would go as far as we feel empathy for him because he does some pretty bad stuff to seek those goals out.
With Celebrimore, there's a lot going on throughout the whole series. So you guys as actors, how much do you guys get to bond with the cast, considering not everybody's in every frame and there's different storylines going left and right? When do you guys get together? Is it during Comic-Con conventions, or do you guys have a table read at one point or another?
Exactly that. We get together at Comic-Con. We get together doing our junkets and traveling, as we've just been doing, to various countries. But other than that, you're right. We just do our bit. We're in our world, and that's what the main excitement of seeing the trailer or some episodes is to see what everyone else has been doing.
Yeah.
And that's at Hall H. The first time we saw the trailer was with everybody else in that audience, and it's a real celebration of what we've all been doing. Special. It's really fun.
What is Saruman's best shape-shifting out? What is his best? What is the best one? How would you best describe him as a shapeshifter?
I think he is more, rather than a shapeshifter, I'd say Sauron's he can take different forms, and I think that those forms, rather than him just like randomly changing form, it's all with a purpose. So it all has an intention, and I think his Anatar form is all aimed towards Celebrimbor this season. It's like, what kind of god, what form would a god take on to best convince the greatest of elven smiths to help him with a task? And that's kind of where we got to with Anatar, and similarly with Halbrand, he kind of tapped into a need of Galadriel in the first season with that form.
Well said. It's good to see you guys again. Keep it going. We'll talk down the road.
Thank you very much.
Later. Thanks, Wilson.
Good to see you, man.
Hey, it's good seeing you guys. Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Here we are, season 2. And from what I've watched so far, it seems that some of you are on a journey and some are not. How would you best describe, without giving so much away, what we're expecting from the characters you guys play? Ismael?
My face, I reacted when you said that. I was like, because I saw what you did there. There are journeys. There are journeys. Everyone has a journey in the show. I must tell you. Yeah, like the season starts. I mean, we ended first season, with darkness arriving. Second season, darkness is here. There's no question about it. You have to figure out what you do, where you go, who you are in this new reality of Middle Earth. And inevitably, every single person, whether they move physically or not, there's a journey, either exterior, like in the exterior, or within. Nobody escapes that, as Sauron has shaken our entire reality.
And for Gilgalad, obviously, he looks like the overseer of everything else,
Yeah.
And I always wonder, he doesn't seem like he has a worry on his face. He says, this too shall pass, but we come to see it's not. What more can you say?
Yeah, the elves are messed up, man. I think that's what's beautiful about what Tolkien created and what the showrunners are doing is that every species is fallible. That they have so much experience, that they are so wise, but at the same time, it's a testament to how powerful evil can be, that it's been growing right under your nose.
Mm-hmm.
And like Ismael said, Middle Earth is in a state of becoming, and we have to figure out what we're going to do about it.
The one thing I wanted to say is that when I was in college, the one thing I regret was never taking archery.
No.
So I'm gonna ask you, how good are your skills at this point?
I'm wonderful.
Incredible. So you don't have to toot your own horn. He's a deadeye, man.
It's something that I never thought I would actually take, but then on a serious note, you realize the depth of what it is as an art as well, because there's like books written about and whatnot, but it's also just the ultimate weapon that every civilization up until now has used for the most part, except us. And it is the one that will get you alive during the zombie apocalypse. So I feel great about it.
Yeah, I mean, the bow and arrow, well, guess how Genghis Khan took over the planet?
Mm-hmm.
It was the nuclear weapon of its time.
Absolutely. And it's still, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But yes,
Yes, he can shoot.
I can shoot.
You should see this video of him shoot. There's a video you got to watch that proves it.
I'll be on Instagram soon.
Now that we're in season 2, and I always say that, when it comes to a series, and there's a lot of investment in this one, but just like every other show out there, season 2 spells confidence. It tells the people, now we can get into it. Because people hate to get invested and then the show's gone after one season. At what point for each of you did you know, okay, I can be in this role because it's a little bit of job stability? Was it the minute you started playing a role, the middle of the production, or where you got the word that, okay, we're coming back for season 2?
Well, I think, I can't speak for everybody, but I think everybody from the word jump knew that we had the support. The investment, of course, but really the support of Amazon and our creative team that we were going to go the distance. Otherwise, don't do it. Mm-hmm. This wasn't, nobody's taking a gamble on this in terms of, well, we hope they like it. We know they like it, and we're proud of it, and we've got a long way to go. So, no, I don't know. We haven't really thought of it that way. We mostly think, how well can we do today? And you're right, it is a luxury to have job stability, but with that comes a lot of responsibility, and I think everybody takes that seriously.
Yeah, and I'll second that. I think Amazon had it from the beginning, and they said, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this right, and we're going to do this for the long run. And I think that, that was the blessing, and that's what was communicated, and so far, that's what they've kept their word. And you feel it. It doesn't feel unstable. It feels like we're going to make the season right, we're going to tell the story right, and then we'll get into the other season. I feel quite certain that I'll be seeing, depending on my character,
you can't get rid of us that easy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes, so let's keep it going. I hope to see more. Obviously, the proof is in the work, the acting, the scope of the series. So congrats. We'll talk down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Wilson. Nice to see you.
Hey, so Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. Here we are, season 2. Obviously, we don't want to say so much because people want to be enthralled week after week. What sort of journey are we all on with the stranger? Markella?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I love how you did that.
What journey are we on with the stranger? I think from Nori's perspective,
fun,
it is
exciting.
It's a full-on.
it's a lot of adventure again, and I think now she knows whenever she's with him, there's a level of danger that she's going to be exposed to, whether it's directly related to him or whenever she's kind of on a journey and exploring the unknown, there's risks associated with it. So I think for her it's just really wanting him to find his home and find the meaning behind those stars, and doing what she can to help him, and also finding her own purpose as well.
And Megan, what's your journey like going to be? What are we expecting?
Wow, yeah, I think there's a very personal journey for Poppy this season, which is sort of, you get to really see her growth and character development, which you've kind of already seen throughout season 1, but it kind of just develops further in different avenues this season. She explores parts of her life that she never even really knew existed, or there was a possibility that it could exist. And you get to really experience that as an audience member with her, which I also find really lovely. You know, one of those things is map breeding, and taking care of a community of people, of peoples rather, and, you know, feeling a certain type of weight on her shoulders that she's never felt before because she hasn't had to. She's scared about the unknown, and it's a different type of unknown. The lands that they're in, the rules are completely different, and I think they're also quite aware as characters that there is a game of chess going on, but they don't know what pieces they even are or when the end is going to be. So I think the elements are kind of expanded, and you really get to see them in moments of extreme.
Daniel, you're the riddle no one can figure out, you know? And so, like, you know, they ask you for one thing, you do something else. You know, it's like when you're reading a script, it's like, do you know what you're supposed to do?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like that's the great thing about working on this show is that when you get the script, and you know, I don't feel like I'm alone. I feel like there's a hair and makeup team, there's a costume department, there's a dialect coach, there's a movement coach in season 1. You know, there are great actors who I'm working with, there are great directors, the showrunners, you know, who are writing the whole stuff. So there's a whole team there who can really channel where the stranger goes, and I feel I'm lucky to, yeah, on screen I'm sort of the body who the stranger is coming through, but it's such a huge group effort to tell these individual stories, and we can throw around ideas, you know, whether it's in rehearsal or before rehearsal, we can throw around all sorts of ideas about where the decisions might go, where the choices might go, and then come to a place where we can serve the story best with these decisions. And sometimes that's sort of a bit left field, and sometimes, you know, it's surprising, and I think that's all to the good. You know, that makes for exciting telly, and hopefully people are enjoying watching it.
Are we going to get any idea this season as to who the stranger is?
Hey, I think you know who he is. I think you already know. You know, you've watched literally from his inception in Middle-earth. You've seen every interaction that he's had. So at the point that we've got to, you know him better than any other character. Whether we know a name for him yet, I mean, there are a few names on the table, obviously. Doderick is one of our favourites. But, you know, I still feel like people already know this character. They know what he stands for, and what you know, where what part he wants to play in the future of Middle-earth. And for me, the question is whether he'll be able to do any of that, you know, in the coming season.
You know, we've got a lot to go with. Obviously, you know, some episodes feature some of you, some of them don't, but you know, that's good of it, you know, because you got to take its time. So thank you for coming back. We'll talk down the road because I know there's going to be more seasons to come. Take care.
Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.